This video is exclusively for the Sterling Heights Senior Center. This is the beginner class, Series 1. Hello everybody. We're going to review everything that we do in our beginners class. So we will start off with the ankle pump. Sit comfortably in your chair, lift the right foot, pull the toe all the way back till you feel it stretch, let it rest forward, don't push it forward, pull it all the way back, bring it down. Next foot, all the way back, all the way forward, all the way back, set it down. Try to get a rhythm going between the 2 feet. And we do this for 5 minutes at a time. We probably won't do that for 5 minutes today. Always going through very important information that we have to disseminate. So I'm going to encourage you every once in a while when you're sitting watching television or you're even at the dinner table, this is extremely good to keep that circulation going. And as we're all shut in a little bit, we're probably all sitting too much. And this gives you an opportunity to work on this. All right, that's enough 5 minutes. The next thing that we do are the ears. 2 fingers, start at the bottom of the ear or wherever you choose. Wherever there's cartilage, you just pinch and squish. Work all the way around the entire ear. You've done a good job of squishing the entire ear. The last thing is to pull these little tabs on the sides of your ears out to close your ears off and wiggle. Always remember, never put anything smaller than your elbow into your ear. The next thing is the arms. So you start with the shoulder, rubbing this hollow spot. And all we're trying to do is create some heat. It's not a self-massage per se. Once that warms up, start from the shoulder, go downward away from the heart. And again, you're trying to create heat. Once that warms up a bit, on your elbow, after that warms up, elbow to the wrist. And all around the wrist. And the last thing they call milking the fingers. You pull the fingers and thumb gently, squishing them. Go right to the tips and pinch the tips. Get that circulation right to the extreme ends. And as I'm always reminding people, if your finger comes off, you pull too hard, try not to do that. Also, it's also important to remember, we're all shut in together. If somebody wants you to pull their finger, don't do it. So you got to do the other arm. Again, you just need to get some heat moving. The elbow. Elbow to the wrist. All around the wrist. And then gently pull and squish the fingers. Pinch those tips. And let that settle for just a second. The next thing we're going to do are the legs. So you have to sit up in the chair a bit. Put 1 foot forward. You want to try to use the knuckles. This range of motion, bringing the hand up like this, is a range of motion we don't often use. So if you use the knuckles, you get some resistance. Start at the back of the knee, go right down the middle of the calf. And if you find any tender spots, spend a little time, rub on them. You're breaking through blockage. Of course, you have to rub both calves. We don't want any mad cows. calves, take both fists, start at the tailbone, go on each side of the spine, and then work your way up. I've been always telling people if you can get your hands up to the back of the neck, free cup of coffee. However, some have been able to do it, and I'm not buying any more coffee. After that's stimulated, the inside of the leg, and this is the important one, you want to get the tibia, this bone here, underneath. You want to press underneath that bone, go all the way down. You're going to feel a tender spot or two. And again, you can spend a little extra time on those. You break through blockage. I have a tendency to go at least 3 or 4 times. Have to do both legs. All right, after we've done that, it's time to stretch. The important thing here is you can't sit too far back in the chair. You put pressure in the lower back, so you have to really scoot up to the edge of the chair. Put your right foot forward, keep the knee significantly bent. This is for the safety of the knee. The toe, simply lean forward, allow gravity to assist, and you simply just let yourself relax, lean forward and stretch. Now it's been proven that a stretch should last at least 40 to 50 seconds to maximize its benefits. And we'll shorten that a little bit for the sake of the video. You have to do both legs. Then we do this in threes, of course. Now you start with the foot forward, then halfway to the side, and you get a nice stretch, both legs. And you're going to go all the way to the side. You want to get it all the way out there, reach, and stretch. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds, and I'll be right back. Do your stretching. All right, if you've been stretching those legs out, then it's always important after you stretch to sit back in the chair and let all that stuff relax for a second. Let the circulation do its thing, let the muscles relax, then cool down a little bit. Once that's cooled down a little bit, now we're going to stand. And I'm going to remove the chair. The next thing we do is kind of the bouncing thing. You start with the feet about shoulder width, always keeping the knees slightly bent. You start by simply 1, 2, 1, 2. Bring the hands up, drop, up, and drop. Try to go straight up and down. And of course, if you can lift the top of the head, tuck in the chin. This is always advised. As you know, we do this for about 1 minute and 15 seconds. And I'll probably be shorting this a little bit for the sake of the video. And we'll take a break. Again, whenever you get done with any of these exercises, when we're in class, you'll notice I always take a couple of seconds, let everything cool down, let the muscles relax a little bit. And the next thing we're going to do is go through the 4 warm-up exercises. You start with the horse stance. Feet a little wider than the shoulders, angle of the mouth slightly. Sit back like you're sitting in a chair. Try to tuck in the hip. Use the abdominal muscles to lift the front of the pelvis. Lift the top of the head, gently tuck in the chin. Keep the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Bring the hands out and make 2 arcs. You want your hands to fall through this pattern. Break, bring the hands up above the heart, make a tight fist and open wide. All the way closed, all the way open. And take a break. Again, let that relax a little bit. The next thing, sit with the top of the head, tuck in the chin, tongue on the roof of the mouth. Lean to the right, take a comfortable step with the left heel. Drop the toe by relaxing the hip, go all the way forward and lean over the knee. Ideally, you want the straight line from the head through the heel. All the weight should be on the forward foot. Simply open the hip, close the hip. You want the whole upper body working in one piece. The arms will simply hang empty, and the hip will drive the arms. Try to keep the front knee as still as possible. And we'll take a break. And allow that to sit for a second. And then the other side, sit, tuck in the hip, and lift the top of the head, tuck in the chin, sit, lean to the left, right foot forward, all the way forward. Open the hip, close the hip. And we'll take a break. Allow that to relax a minute. The third warm-up is where I tell everybody, grab your chairs. You want something to stabilize with. Once you have your chair handy, with the top of that tuck in the chin, tongue on the roof of the mouth, sit, tuck in your hip. Lean to the left with the right foot forward. Bring the knee straight across from the hip. You want the knee totally across from the hip. You want the knee down empty. Simply stir from the knee. Both directions. Take a break. Let that relax for a second. Always wait for the blood pressure to change. And sit, lean to the right, bring the left knee straight across from the hip, circles. Both directions. And take a break. Okay, the fourth warm-up always comes with a little bit of a warning label. If you have any issues with the hip, knee, or ankle that you don't feel should be jostled a bit, You can avoid this. But if everything's healthy, sit, tuck in the hip, lean to the left with the right foot forward, pull your toe firmly toward the knee. You have to keep that toe pulled back for the safety of the knee. Without hitting the floor, lift the heel straight up, let it simply drop straight down. Drop. The other side, sit, tuck in the hip, lean to the right, put the left foot forward, keep that toe firmly pulled back, let the heel drop. Let that sit for a couple of seconds. And you're pulling your chairs back. So the next thing we do at this point is the blood pressure exercise. We start with the horse stance. A little wider than the shoulders, angle them out. Lift the top of that, tuck in the chin, sit, tuck in your hip. Bring the left hand on the abdomen, palm up, right hand on top, palm up. Interlock the webbing of the thumbs. Bring the hands up to throat height, nice and rounded. Let the back open and the chest come in. Take a breath in. Turn the hip to the left, breathe out. When the hip stops, everything stops, come back to the center, breathe in. Turn to the right, breathe out. When the hip stops, that's it. Come back to the center, breathe in. There's no turning at all with the arms. They stay straight in front of the center line. All the turning comes from the hips. You want the whole upper body completely empty. If you're not putting any strain on the upper body, it's allowing for all sorts of unencumbered circulation. You remember you have to do this long enough till you feel your arms get very heavy. That way you know that they're saturated and you've changed your blood pressure up. Stop in the center, breathe out, bring your hands down, turn the palms over, lean to the right, close off, drop your hands, and allow yourself several seconds to let that soak in. You've moved a lot of circulation. All right. Next thing we're going to do is for the shoulder, let your arm hang like a cable, ideally with the palm forward. Use the hips. You want the arm to just hang empty, and it swings on its own, using the hip to drive it. From both directions. Take a break. We'll do the other side. So ideally with the palm forward. Both directions. And take a break. Okay, now we're going to get the shoulders opened a bit, stretch things out, fold your hands. Bring them back. All the way back with each out breath, try to let them relax and stretch out. Try not to put too much strain. Stretching works much better when you try to relax with it and use the breathing. And bring your hands straight up. And bring them down. Keep the palms together so you're stretching the wrists. And turn the fingers down to bring the wrists up, but relax the shoulders. You're going to want to lift the shoulders. You don't need to do that. And turn the palms outward, hands straight forward, open the back. Take a break. Now at this point, we're going to do the Tai Chi rulers, so I'm going to give you a chance to go get your Tai Chi ruler, and I'm going to go get mine. If you're ready, between the palms, roll. Other direction. And take a break. Pulling it straight forward, one hand stays where it is in space, the other goes straight out to the side, reach to stretch. I tend to breathe out when I stretch. And I tend to use repetitions of 6 when I'm doing these particular ones. Straight up and down. Top hand straight over. Bottom hand straight under. Try to feel that stretch all the way through the shoulders, through the back. Then reverse it. Top hand over. Bottom hand under. And take a break. Now we're going to roll the newspaper. You grab it like this, roll. Go backwards. Forward again. Backwards again. One more time forward. And take a break. All right, the twirling of the sword. Grab it in your hand like this. Point it forward. Turn the palm outward, drop it, bring the back of the hand in towards you, and turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand towards you, and turn. Out, drop, back of the hand towards you, turn. And out, drop, back of the hand towards you, turn. From the side, turn the palm outward, drop it, back of the hand in, and turn. Out, drop, back of the hand in, turn. Out, drop, back of the hand in, turn. Out, drop, back of the hand in, turn. Now we put it in the left hand. Turn the palm outward, drop it, bring the back of the hand in towards you, turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand towards you, turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand towards you, turn. Out, drop, back of the hand towards you, turn. Palm out, drop it, back of the hand straight in, turn. out, drop, back of the hand in, turn, out, drop, back of the hand in, turn, out, drop, back of the hand in, turn, take a break. And we put it in the right hand again, palm up. Crank the wrist downward and then turn to the outside, turn it over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside, over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside, over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside, over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside, over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside, over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside, over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside, over. Take a break. Left hand, palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside, over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward to the outside, over. Palm up, the wrist downward, turn to the outside, over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside, over. Palm up, crank the wrist down to the outside, over. Palm up, crank the wrist down to the outside, over. Palm up, crank the wrist down to the outside, over. One more. Palm up, crank the wrist down, turn to the outside, over. Take a break. And again, give yourself a few seconds, let those muscles relax a little bit. Now we're going to bring it all the way back, as far back as you can get it, and turn. And take a break. Let that settle for a few seconds. And you grab it, both palms facing in, one on the top, one on the bottom, and roll it. Both directions. Break. And holding it between the palms as you go to the left right hand on top, to the right left hand on top. And take a break. And the last thing with the Tai Chi ruler is to grab it and reach. One more, then press. All right, we'll put these down. I'll give you a second to put yours down too. All right, if you're there, we're ready. The next thing we're going to do is loosen things up and make sure that you lift the top of the head, tuck in the chin to stabilize the neck. Fingers should be straight, so you pull the fingertips to straighten the hands, and this is all from the elbows. Open. Then straight forward. Shake them loose. Then fold your hands and do the wave. Try to maximize the range of motion in the wrists. You want the hands to be very, very loose. And take a break. Let that settle for a second. Then what we call the L left palm straight out, right palm straight up. Fold to the thumb, to the back of the hands, then pull them in, rotate them through, and go right back to this L. So the thumbs, back of the hands, bring them up, through, back to the L. The goal here is to keep in constant contact. You're never really breaking loose. And one more. Now, very important, let your hands hang and give yourself several seconds. Within 10 to 15 seconds, you should feel your hands getting warm, tingling. You can see the color changes. This gets a lot of circulation going, and you don't want to miss it. If you don't allow yourself to relax, that circulation's just going to go all over the place. So you want it to do its whole thing. So once that's relaxed a little bit, one hand to the shoulder, one hand to the back, flop them. Take a break. Next, we're going to open the shoulder up a bit. Bring the left arm straight up. I tend to grab the elbow with my other elbow and lock the arms in, then pull straight across to the right and look past the left shoulder, touch the chin to the shoulder. So you're stretching the neck and the shoulder at the same time. And you don't need too long on this. I would say 5 to 7 seconds is all it takes. Bring the right arm up. Grab the elbow, pull it across to the left, look past the right shoulder. Take a break. Then roll the shoulders. In both directions. Roll the hip. Both directions. Then the next thing is where I tell everybody, grab your chair. This is the foot forward and back for the hip. So I'm going to stand here for a few seconds, let you go grab a chair or get something handy, or a couch or whatever is close. And you start with your checklist, feet 4 or 5 inches apart. Lift the top of the head, tuck in the chin, tongue on the roof of the mouth, sit, tuck in the hip, 1 foot at a time. And take a break. Let that sit. I tend to feel the circulation in this positive leg. You can feel it changing. You want that blood pressure to change. On the other side. And take a break. So at this point, we're going to stop the video and you can take a rest. And I'm going to produce another video that will do the second half of the class. So I hope everybody is good. I hope this has been a big help to you.